one of the great lessons, and I've learnt so many great lessons through this whole experience. I've said actually to people about what happened in 2000 was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But it's also the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Now that sounds like a total contradiction, but to me, I don't see it that way. The pain of going through this acute mental illness was the worst thing I'd ever experienced. But so not only did people have to help me rebuild myself, I had to help. I had to buy in. I had to have skin in the game here. So I had to take responsibility for choices to make sure I took medication all the time, which, I wasn't always 100% effective with, and being compliant with. You've got to be. That's it. That's the rule. You must be to keep yourself well with any of these type of illnesses, and eat better, get back to some exercise, barely touch alcohol anymore. I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs. I understand why people drink and take drugs when they have mental health problems. Yeah. They're trying to self-medicate. If they're high, they want to ride the high. If they're low, they don't want to feel like rubbish, so they'll take something to get them back to here, or they'll throw down any number of beers. The end of the day, it's counterproductive because, as you said earlier on, it's alcohol's a depressant. It's going to throw you back down the hole in the next day or so, and same with anything that makes you high. Take a drug, it'll drop you back. And so I don't go there. I'm not preaching to anybody about what they should do, but these are choices for me, and they keep me well.
And for a lot of people, and this goes for maybe 90% of cases, maybe 80%, diet can help you.
Yes.
Cutting the shit out. Sugar. Refined carbohydrates. Fuck it off.
Yeah.
Diet, exercise. What I did, one of the best things I ever did, was I started training in an MMA gym. Jiu-jitsu, kickboxing.
Well, I do boxing.
Yeah.
Fantastic training.
Amazing. It exhausts you. It gets you to the point where you're actually working on something, you're trying to get better at a skill, and you're trying to do something that is very physical. And for a man, it's also something that, it's that testosterone thing. You want to hit things.
Yeah. It's great. You can hit a punching bag.
Yeah.
You can hit pads when there's someone holding them. No one gets hurt. You get your fitness levels up, you develop your skill, and all of those things you just mentioned. It ticks every box, and I rate it highly.
And there's other things. There's sleep. There's making sure you're not on your phone until the end of the night, which I do all the time, and I shouldn't, but I should sleep better. There's a whole range of different things. Making sure there's love in your life. There's a dog. There's all that type of stuff, and you're working towards something. You're not just working a dead end job.
Yeah.
You're trying to better yourself, but sometimes. And for me, it was the case. Then I tried to get all my ducks in a row with that, and it was. And sometimes medication is that point where you need to have, that is the point where you need intervention.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, there is still a stigma, as we spoke about earlier, with not only getting help, but there's a huge stigma with taking something.
Yeah.
Doctors are easy to prescribe it.
Yeah.
They will happily do it, which is not a good thing. It's a good thing. But it's not always a good thing as a first course.
It might be the easy thing is to look. I've got a waiting room full of people. This is going to take me, 25 minutes. I'm going to be later and later. And I'm talking generally here, and this might be a very minimal number of practitioners we're talking about. The easy thing, as you say, is to look. Here's your script and go. And that for some people, medication is the answer. And sometimes these things are a little bit more layered than that.
Sometimes it's a combination.
Yeah.
Sometimes medication will just be the thing that works for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And maybe you've tried everything. Maybe you are training hard. Because there's a lot of footballers that have these depression and anxiety issues. Mate, and very few of them come out about it, but there are a lot of them.
I tell you, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of NRL players who, no names, of course, but they've got in touch and they said, look, I'm going through what you've been through. I'm experiencing those things too, and sometimes it's the depression and sometimes it's the high, and there's been many we know of publicly, but there's a lot we don't know of, and it's not just sportsmen and women, it's not just elite athletes. It's anybody. And it doesn't matter whether you're 15 or you're 115, you're still as vulnerable or as likely or unlikely to experience a period like that in your life. You touched on sleep a moment ago. Now, sleep for me on priorities was never particularly high. You know, I slept when I slept, but I didn't see it as being critical to my own well-being until I slept poorly. And I went through that period where I didn't sleep and I was awake at 11 o'clock at night and the mind would be ruminating and I'd be thinking over things about, you know, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I could have done that better. Classic perfectionist behaviour too, I might add. Can't fix it. It's gone. Yesterday's gone. What am I doing tomorrow? Well, I can't fix that either because tomorrow hasn't arrived yet. It didn't stop me thinking about it. And that's why I put sleep almost right at the top of the list in terms of my mental well-being now. I need to sleep properly. And I do a lot of speaking now, a lot of public speaking on mental health, all ranges from conferences down to schools, a lot of blue-collar sites, work sites. And I remember speaking on a mine site about 12 months ago about the importance of sleep and to good mental health. And a bloke put up his hand through the session and he said, it's all right for you to say, you know, it's important to get sleep. We're working rotating shifts here at this mine. They're 12-hour shifts. You know, our sleep patterns are all over the shop, you know. So give me an answer. So I thought about it for a minute, and good sleep, regardless of you working those split shifts and those rotating shifts, which make it dreadfully hard, I might add, really challenging. The other things you've got to look at is winding down. You've got to wind down if you're having problems sleeping. The first thing you do is get off that phone that you're on, right? So if you're having problems sleeping, you don't want to be on that thing at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night. But the process starts much earlier in the day, right? After midday, no caffeine. None. No coffees, no green teas, no Coca-Colas, nothing that's got caffeine in it that's going to wind you up and stimulate your system. So if you're going to have something hot, and I'd even go as far as black tea, anything that's got a bit of caffeine in it, have a herbal tea. It might sound like it's a bit wussy, but you're going to be thanking it at about 10 o'clock that night. So you're just all the time towards, as you getting to the time you're finishing work, you're going home. And if you're sleeping really poorly and feeling agitated, panicked, with anxiety, get in a bath. Have a bath. Epsom salts in it. Put some rosemary oil or some other, essential oil in there. Read a book that you enjoy and just soak there. Soak there. Once again, you're winding it down. Don't eat after 8 o'clock. Have something to eat before. So your digestive system isn't working hard when you're trying to go to sleep. And the other thing is, I love AC/DC. I love the Rolling Stones. I love Midnight Oil with a passion. I don't have him blaring through the headphones at 9:30 at night if I want to be asleep by 10:30. It's not going to happen because you go to a rock concert, you go to something that's going to wind you up. You can't sleep when you get home. So if you're having problems sleeping, I'd say do those things to start with. So he said, well, I'll try those things. I think the bit that pissed him off most was the AC/DC. He said, I've got to have my AC/DC.
Who's listening to AC/DC before they go to bed?
People are.
Fucking hell.
Some people are.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying about sleep. And I think it's a problem that not only does the youth have, but older people, they're getting their hands on, smartphones, all that type of stuff. And it's something that you'll see. And, you hear people talk about the circadian rhythms, all these type of things that you need to be in touch with. You think about 10,000 years, not even 10,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, we have dinner at maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if we have dinner at all. And the sun goes down, everyone's bored shitless, they're looking at the fire, might as well go to bed.
Might as well go to bed.
That's how you're sort of built, right? Yeah. You have your dinner, you digest it, and then you're asleep.
And now the world is full of distractions.
All the distractions.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
There's a new shiny toy everywhere.